Moving the ATAS 120A antenna? That's what's coming up next on El Cara Ham Radio. Hello folks, this is Chris, KY4CKP. I've had a project in mind for my truck for quite some time now, and that was moving the ATAS 120A antenna from the rear driver's side door back by the tailgate. I've had this antenna since I had my first Tacoma, which sadly died in a in a mud pit in an off-roading incident. But the antenna has worked well, and I had it on the K400 antenna mount, lip mount antenna mount that you can use for your hood, for the trunk of a car, and for the doors of a car, depending on how they're designed at least. This location has worked well on both trucks, but I came across the Rago fabrication antenna mount and decided I wanted to give it a try and mount it back towards the rear of my truck. So that was the project that I've been thinking about and acquiring some pieces and parts for. And now that the weather has turned and it's getting warmer and nicer, and the days are a little bit longer, I decided it was time to go ahead and tackle this project. So that's what we're going to take a look at this week, is moving the ATAS and seeing if it actually works in the new location. So we're going to show a little bit about what we did for this project here in the next segments, and we'll bring you folks right back. All right, so here we can see the two-part Rago fabrication. They call it a CB antenna mount. You can use it to mount really almost any kind of antenna you want to, but I will say that the mounting hole is sized for the sort of quarter 28 type fire stick, single antenna mounts that you have for CB and other things. So I did use a drill bit, as we'll see later, to open it up just a little bit. So we're just taking a look at it here. One of the things I liked about this mount, other than, of course, it's custom made for a third-gen Tacoma in the rear at the tailgate, but it's actually made of stainless steel, and then it's powder coated. So I used a Dremel and some wheels there to expose some bare metal on this where it's going to be touching the truck. But again, it's stainless steel, so it shouldn't rust or anything anyway. I'm also going to use those sanding discs on the truck where it's going to mount in, just to make sure it should get a good solid ground to the truck, because that is one thing about the ATAS antennas. For anybody who's owned one or anybody who's thinking about it, you have to have a really good ground to the vehicle so that it will tune correctly. So here we are looking at the driver's side. They do make this for passenger side or driver side. I decided to get it for the driver's side so I can just see it operating in my left-hand mirror. And you can see the 3 bolts where it's going to be going. So those are just, I believe they were 10 millimeter bolts. You just take them out. You're going to reuse them, so don't throw them away. And again, I used the sanding discs with the Dremel to just clear out some bare metal right on where those are going to go, just like I did on the mount itself. And then I also did something else. I also used some anti-seize grease, but it's copper-based anti-seize grease. So you've got clear type anti-seize, you've got the sort of silver type stuff, and this is the copper stuff, which helps maintain connectivity. So I put a little bit of that on each of those locations, and then we mounted the CB antenna mount back onto the truck. Now again, I had the K400S, in this case, heavy-duty mount, on my truck for several years, and it worked very well. It's designed for that kind of thing. It can rotate and swivel. So again, whether you're going to put it on the hood of a car, the trunk of a car, or vertically on the door like I did, it can swivel and adjust all those settings. It worked well, but I decided to change things because I did get in and out of that rear passenger door quite a bit, and always had the antenna kind of wobbling around and banging around. So one of the things I got to go with the Rago mount was this heavy-duty spring mount with a cable. Of course, the K400 comes with a cable that you can snake into the vehicle and attach to the radio. So I got this heavy-duty spring mount. because I do some off-roading and looking to get into some overlanding and camping and stuff, and just wanted it to have some flexibility and hopefully not snap off the first time I forget to take it down and catch it with a branch. So here it is mounted up. Now I will say this: if you see the red highlight behind the Rago logo R that's cut into that mount, the red highlight doesn't come with it, folks. That's a custom addition that I made to that mount with some anodized aluminum. Here's a step drill bit. I used the 11/16 level on that bit to open up the hole. Again, not too big a deal with this particular mount because it is actually made of stainless steel. Was able to mount the heavy-duty spring and bring that coax through there, and in preparation for running it. So the other end of the coax comes apart, so you can slip it through the hole, and then it has the mounting hardware, which actually, as we'll see in a moment, has a lock nut and a lock washer on that. That's just how it came, but I certainly don't think that is going to hurt anything. So now you can kind of see it's the sort of nylock and the spring lock washer. Mounted it up good and tight, ran the cabling into the truck, and hooked it up. So here we can see the original K400S mounted on the door, and then we've got the new Rago mount on the back by the tailgate with the ATAS already attached. And we're going to check it out and do some testing here in just a few minutes. Make sure it tunes okay. Again, you have to have a really good ground to the body and the chassis of the car to make sure it'll tune okay. And I've got the FT891 installed, of course. Done videos on that. And we're going to see how well it works. So the install was, everything was pretty straightforward, not too big a deal. But, and here we see it tuning a little bit. But let's go ahead and make a few contacts and see how it's working at the new location. Kilo Yankee 4, Charlie Kilo Papa Mobile.
The mobile was at the Kilo Yankee 4, Charlie Kilo Papa.
QSL.
Hey, great. I was trying to sneak some water there. Kilo Yankee 4, Charlie Kilo Papa. Thanks for the call. In New Mexico, you're 554, my park US 0955.
QSL, I've got you 5353, Central Kentucky.
Thanks for Kentucky, the mobile. Have a great weekend there. Thanks for the call. 73.
Thanks for the park.
Absolutely. Here's Kilo Echo 5, Yankee Charlie, 4 Florida. And we're going to take some more calls here. 60 Florida, Kilo 8, November Whiskey November. You heard that.
Kilo Yankee 4, Charlie Kilo Papa Mobile.
Okay, was it a mobile station that I heard?
Kilo Yankee 4, Charlie Kilo Papa Mobile.
Okay, I got Kilo Yankee 4, Charlie Kilo Papa, QSL.
QSL.
I got you 59 in the park down here, sir.
All right, I've got you 5454, Central Kentucky.
Thank you for 54 in Central Kentucky. Thanks for being out there and searching for Florida there. Can't do it without you guys. You're all great. Awesome. Okay, 72 South Florida. Vicky Florida, Kilo 8.
Muy obrigado. Buenos días para ti. Buen weekend a la familia. Un abrazo. Y de T77, London, America, USA, QRZ.
Kilo Yankee 4, Charlie Kilo Papa.
Yankee 4, big seal. Kilo Yankee 4 again.
Kilo Yankee 4, Charlie Kilo Papa.
Big seal, 20 DPONI. Kilo Yankee 4, Charlie Kilo Papa. Over there, good morning back to you, Chris. You copy 5920, over.
QSL, I've got you 5959 in Central Kentucky.
Thank you so much, Kentucky. Good job back here. Thanks, anybody. Good weekend to your family. Thanks. T77 LA, USA, QRZ.
All right, folks, that's going to wrap this one up. You know, the ATAS antenna isn't a perfect antenna, but it is very handy. It is not real large and works really quite well. I have reached a lot of places around the world, into Europe and into South America, into South Africa, and different places. And if you happen to have a Yaesu radio, such as the 891, FT891, which is a very nice mobile HF radio, and maybe even pair it up with the Rago fabrication antenna mount for the back of your truck. They make several variations of that. I have a 3rd gen Tacoma. You can have a very convenient and very easy and nice to use mobile radio. And I do spend a lot of time on the highways, on the interstate. And so I have enjoyed having more than just 2 meters and 70 centimeters, which I have as well. So just something to consider, but it's worked well for me. So that'll wrap this one up. This is Chris, KY4CKP for Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. We'll see you folks in the next video, 73.